CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Local health unit officials are launching a new strategic plan, altering their goals with a vision for the next 5 years. They say it's about better reaching the community in the wake of the pandemic and vaccine hesitancy. With more, here's Sean Irvin.
Few would argue the field of public health has dramatically changed since the start of the decade. That reality has the Middlesex London Public Health Unit drawing up a plan to evolve.
After the pandemic, we now have an opportunity to reset our direction moving forward. And so we have a new strat plan for the 2026 to 2030 5-year.
But it is not just the pandemic that will shape the document and the organization's new slogan, Healthy People, Thriving Community.
Our world feels different than it did 5 years ago. From increasing homelessness, ongoing substance use, increased population growth and complexity, more diversity in our communities, it's a different London, it's a different Middlesex County.
Part of that change includes vaccine resistance, and not only to COVID-19. The resurgence of measles last year solidified the need for new communications techniques.
My job is to recognize that there are folks who aren't confident in these products. Those are really fair questions. They're fair to be asked. And we need to be able to have robust answers and reassurance that says to folks, measles is a disease that historically killed young children.
The strategic plan comes in the wake of a nearly 9% funding boost in the local portion of MLHU funding. Dr. Summers said the boost has kept most programs on track. But the agency is struggling with limited funding increases from the province.
Ideally, we would need an annual funding increase equivalent with inflation, which in most instances is around that 3% mark. Okay. Over the last number of years, we've been receiving a 1% increase from our provincial funders, which hasn't kept pace either with inflation nor with population growth.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
A warning from local first responders to anyone venturing out onto Lake Erie right now. Despite notices posted at Port Stanley's beach, there's been no shortage of icy wanderers. And as Brent Lale reports, it appears they don't fully appreciate the risks they're taking.
Port Stanley resident Ann Stevens quickly grabbed her camera when she saw this man riding his snowmobile in the harbor.
That certainly ranks up there with one of the silliest things I've seen.
He was one of dozens of people who ventured out onto Lake Erie over the weekend.
You get a day like today where the sun is shining, and it's nice and bright, and it's beating down on that ice, and those ice conditions can change in a matter of hours. It doesn't take days and weeks to change the ice condition.
This drone video taken by photographer Paul Redmond shows just how far people have been walking from Main Beach in Port Stanley. The footprints go for more than a kilometer.
People are pushing the limits. They're getting out closer and closer to open water, or they're getting up on shelf ice or pocketed ice, and to get that social media picture that they can put out there, and it puts themselves in danger, and as a result, it puts our team in danger.
I think it's definitely frustrating to see a lot of people who are putting not only themselves at risk, but also potentially putting first responders at risk. It's really important to know that especially such big bodies of water like Lake Erie, conditions are always unpredictable.
With the temperatures expected above zero for the next few days, the Elgin County Drowning Prevention Coalition says the risk is even greater for those who venture onto the ice.
Shelf ice forms in layers, and so you might have something that's thick here, but your next step or next spot, so to say, it didn't freeze solid. It's really tough because in one area that might be thick, the next you could fall through, and now you're needing help.
Stevens has seen a lot of incidents over the years in the village and can't understand why people keep putting themselves and first responders at risk.
I think because people are hearing that Lake Erie is 90%, 100% frozen, they think it's safe to go out. And we have the ice warning signs. People seem to just ignore the signs.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Meanwhile, local conservation authorities are warning about inland waterways. According to the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority, warmer temperatures and rain will melt some of the snowpack, raising water levels. Officials say everyone should be cautious and avoid waterways in flooded areas. They expect the elevated levels to continue into next week, and children and pets should be kept away. A fire caused extensive damage to a North London home last night. This is the aftermath. Fire crews say they were called around 11 p.m. to Wright Crescent. The extensive damage is mostly to the garage, including a car and 2 motorcycles. According to first responders, everyone inside made it out. They were checked over at the scene for possible smoke inhalation. A 2-vehicle crash closed Springbank Drive early Sunday morning. Firefighters say one person needed extrication from a pickup truck that had flipped onto its side. The other vehicle had a damaged front end sitting off the road on the curb. First responders say 2 people were hurt, but they did not disclose how serious those injuries are. The Port Stanley Terminal Rail has temporarily suspended operations after serious erosion was found beneath the historic Kettle Creek Bridge.
We own the bridge, yes, and the repair estimates are creeping up to almost $500,000. Hopefully it comes in a little bit under that. So we are exploring some outside funding to help with this project.
Officials say the issues were discovered during an underwater inspection back in December. They say low water levels in Kettle Creek have caused problems over the years. And since it was built in 1908, the creek has shifted, causing the water to swirl, speeding up as it passes the abutment, creating what officials call their biggest ever engineering concern.
Engineered drawings are all done up and they've been submitted. We're hoping that the construction crews can start in the next couple of weeks, and if that happens, it's about a 4-week project, and we hopefully will be ready to go by Easter.
A woman near Hanover is appealing for help tonight, reporting her dog stolen. She says it was taken because of the breed, and it isn't the first one of its kind stolen in the area. With more, here's Scott Miller.
Lucy's dog crate sits empty on Lauren Coates' kitchen floor, her food bowl still full of food. Coates says the 1-year-old Australian Kelpie they rescued 6 months ago and that was being trained to be her therapy dog was stolen on Wednesday while Coates and her partner were at work.
She's very valuable, and she's a loved family member of our family, and I need to bring her home.
Coates believes Lucy was stolen because of her breed and the price tag attached to Australian Kelpies.
A Kelpie can go anywhere from $2,000 to all the way up to $10,000.
Coates says she is aware of 3 other Australian Kelpies stolen in Grey Bruce within the past 2 weeks. She fears someone will start using Lucy and the others for breeding.
She's my therapy dog, and with my mental health, the way it's been going lately, she's the one that calms it.
Coates says the thieves who took Lucy also snatched her late mother's jewelry. She and her partner say they don't feel safe in their own home anymore. But she holds out some hope that Lucy will find her way back to them somehow.
I'm a firm believer in hope. Lucy actually is my hope. Lucy's always been my hope since the day we got her, the day we rescued her from a really bad situation.
Near Hanover, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Organizations representing Ontario post-secondary students are raising concerns about the provincial government's plans for college and university funding. Officials detailed a system overhaul last week, dramatically decreasing the amount of grant money available through OSAP. Robert Lothian has more on the impact.
Relief for colleges and universities students fear is coming at a cost, and it's one they say they'll have to pay.
We want to ensure that our universities can continue to function and continue to provide the services and education that they offer. But where I want to make a comment is that I don't know if affordability has been taken into consideration, because at this time students are in a cost of living crisis.
The Ford government overhauling post-secondary funding last week, a $6.4 billion infusion of cash, unfreezing tuitions, and changing how financial assistance, commonly known as OSAP, is doled out. The University of Windsor Students Alliance warns those on campus can't take on rising education costs with less support.
It's quite disappointing to hear that the OSAP changes are happening at a time like this when affordability is at a crisis with students and tuition is being raised on that end.
Currently up to 85% of a student's OSAP funding can be a grant, and at least 15% is a loan that must be repaid. The new model drops the cap on grants to 25%, and the loans accruing interest after graduation rise to a minimum of 75%.
Like education at that point is now becoming less equitable and less accessible for students.
The UWSA is asking the province to review the OSAP changes immediately, but the Ford government claims the changes are necessary to keep schools afloat.
If we want Ontario to have a competitive workforce tomorrow, we need to strengthen our post-secondary institutions today.
At U Windsor, Maura is urging decision makers to consult with those in the classroom.
We weren't consulted on these things, and we want to ensure that students are being consulted prior to making decisions that ultimately affect them more than anybody else.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
Changes are coming next school year for Ontario's youngest students. The Education Ministry is intensifying the kindergarten curriculum, asking teachers to spend more time on reading and math specifically. With more on the changes, here's Michelle Molesky.
Kindergarten is the start of a 14-year journey of education. In Ontario, it's play-based.
We want them to play. We want them to still have that curiosity and learning to extend their thinking and discovery through kindergarten.
That won't change in September. The change is students will have certain expectations to meet. For example,
our kindergartens will be exploring, counting, estimating up to 20. And they'll be doing addition and subtraction up to 10.
The teachers will be expected to help students reach those specific thresholds.
They want a real focus on literacy and mathematics and explicitly teaching it instead of implicitly doing it.
Teacher Union President Mario Spagnuolo says his members have known about this change coming for a few years. It was supposed to be implemented this school year.
We actually are thankful that the ministry listened to the feedback and gave 1 year to try to get our mind around it.
The change will take effect in September.
I don't think there will be too much of a change, but it is a new curriculum that they're going to have to learn. The ministry's only given a 30-minute webinar that's available for teachers.
So what can parents do to prepare their kids for the classroom?
I think having those authentic conversations with your child, those are already happening at the dinner table, in the car rides, asking them about what they see, what they hear, what colors do you see, where do you see numbers?
And the other thing is just going back to the basics, read a book. Have your child read a book with you, sit in your lap, and just read. That is so important, and away from technology.
Both major boards in Windsor are hosting their kindergarten open houses on Thursday, February 19th. Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
The London Knights hosted the Owen Sound Attack in a Family Day matinee this afternoon.
In across the line, big good shot, scores, peppered it.
A solid offensive performance by the Knights, led by Cohen Bidgood. That was his second goal of the game, to go with a pair of assists, earning him first star of the game honors. The Knights won it by a final score of 6-2, and with that victory, they clinch a playoff spot. Their next game is Friday when they host the Barrie Colts. Canadian curlers have found themselves in the middle of an Olympic controversy, accused of cheating, prompting mid-game outbursts, some with profanity. Garrett Barry reports.
The dust still has not settled at these Olympic Games after an eyebrow-raising, particularly tense curling match between Canada and Sweden's men's teams on Friday night. And at the heart of it all is not only the swearing by Canadian third Mark Kennedy towards his Swedish counterpart, but also a technical controversy.
Sweden had accused Kennedy of touching the granite part of the curling rock after releasing the handle. Curling officials then stepped up enforcement of rule violations at these Olympic Games. That move is quite rare in curling, a sport that has traditionally seen players enforce the rules themselves.
The first page of the World Curling Rule Book is titled The Spirit of Curling, and it's a lot of fluffy, poetic words about how, yes, we have a rule book, but realistically, as long as everybody's just nice to each other, then the rule book almost doesn't even matter.
The extra enforcement seemed only to escalate tensions when an umpire intervened and pulled a rock thrown by Canadian women's skip Rachel Homan on Saturday night. It likely cost her a point in a 1-point extra end loss against Switzerland. Afterwards, she told reporters the situation was absurd, insane, that she was unfairly punished, and denied any wrongdoing. On Sunday, curling officials abandoned that enhanced scrutiny and went back to old procedures, where teams would have to request officials come and watch for violations.
Part of the issue, according to Canadian curlers, is that this is the sport's highest stage and not, they say, the place to change the rules or how they're enforced. Garrett Berry, CTV News, Milan.
Still to come, the sugar rush at the Sugar Bush. Maple syrup season is upon us with the return of a local winter tradition. Welcome back. Canadian officials are in Mexico City, part of our largest trade mission to that country in decades. They've said their goal is to strengthen relations with Mexico amid threats from American President Donald Trump. Rachel Aiello reports.
Hundreds of delegates representing business and key sectors across Canada are taking part in the biggest trade mission to Mexico in decades. Led by Minister Dominic LeBlanc, Canadians are meeting with Mexican government officials, policy experts, and industry leaders.
It's a long time coming. We're in a continent that we share. This is an opportunity to go well beyond where we have been.
CUSMA protections have shielded most Canadian and Mexican commerce from U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. But with the Americans threatening to scrap the Trilateral Trade Pact in favor of separate agreements, Canadian stakeholders are looking at bilateral relations with Mexico in new light.
We haven't actually leaned in to what CUSMA, our trade agreement, affords us, and we just have not invested in building the relationships or educating ourselves or connecting those businesses.
Merchandise trade between Canada and Mexico has increased 12-fold since the original NAFTA came into force, but business leaders see potential to gain more market access.
With the current negotiation and revision of USMCA CUSMA, it's important for us to be here on the ground and see if there's potential for our producers to expand their export to Mexico.
With the required joint CUSMA review coming in July, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced today he's tapped longtime senior public servant Janice Charette to be Canada's next chief trade negotiator to the United States. Charette will work closely with Mark Wiseman, Canada's new ambassador to the U.S., who just started in D.C. this week.
Well, of course, she's an incredibly experienced and seasoned bureaucrat and diplomat. This is exactly what we need.
Reacting to Charette's appointment, the Conservatives said Canadian workers need results and not another bureaucrat or negotiator. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Cuba's energy crisis is taking a toll on the country's tourism industry and causing ripple effects at many other sunny destinations. As Kamil Karamali reports, with Cuba shutting down, would-be travelers are looking at other options and prices are going up.
Here at Canada's largest airport, travelers looking to escape the cold,
just the weather, I guess, the beach,
might be surprised to find how much more it's going to cost.
You actually have to pay a lot in U.S. dollars, even when you're in Mexico.
Cuba is experiencing a devastating energy crisis, and that means the thousands of Canadians who had plans to vacation on the Caribbean island are left scrambling to find other destinations.
We're going into March break. The demand for other properties was very high, and it's last minute. So prices are going to be high.
Thousands of dollars higher in some cases because of the short notice, and prices expected to remain high even if you're planning a getaway months down the road, since Canadians who vacation in Cuba will now be flowing into other resorts in other countries.
I would call it the perfect storm. They can deem whatever price they want, and you know what? They're probably going to get it, because that is a major player taken out of the picture if Cuba does not get back online.
And who knows how long getting online could take. Cuba's fuel shortage has triggered widespread power cuts, affecting access to food, water, and medicine. The Caribbean country is blaming the U.S., which isn't allowing oil to get from Venezuela to Cuba.
All major Canadian airlines have now suspended service to Cuba because of the aviation fuel shortage, telling CTV News they're still working on bringing Canadian travelers home.
Sunwing and Air Transat telling CTV News most of their travelers in Cuba have returned to Canada, with the rest arriving Tuesday. Steve Chapman cutting his Cuban vacation short to make it out Tuesday.
Which I think is going to be one of the last flights out, according to our WestJet
rep here.
But like many, unsure if he'll be willing to pay more.
The Mexico destinations are going to definitely crank their prices up for supply and demand.
To vacation elsewhere in the Caribbean anytime soon. Kamel Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Rain is likely for the midweek, and we could see temperatures still remaining quite mild for this time of the year. Hello, I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. We got into a brush of showers and even a wintry mix cutting right through the hard gray Bruce, the Bruce Peninsula into Georgian Bay and further east, and to the north and east of the great city of London, some significant snowfall tallies. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, we remain cloudy and likely wet. We'll see where temperatures are headed. We're mild for the next couple of days, but big changes on the way. I'll break it all down for you coming up next here on CTV News.
Welcome back. Gary Archibald is with me tonight. And Gary, some much milder temperatures so far looking at this week ahead. But with those milder temperatures does bring the risk of rain, and we're looking at a wet couple days, it sounds like.
You're right about that, Carlyle. I think the midweek is rather soggy. In fact, much of southern central Ontario, southwestern Ontario, due east, will see this precipitation. We might even get into a rain-snow mix as we head towards Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even Monday. So it's going to be an active weather week. We saw some significant fog patches across the region earlier today, and that often happens when you have relatively mild, moist air at the surface with colder air and a shallow layer near the surface just above. Our high of 3 degrees today, 4 degrees above seasonal, continued snow and ice melt. A big consideration across the region. We're concerned about that because those puddles will eventually refreeze once temperatures certainly cool down over the next few days. More on that about the overnight lows in just a moment. A brush with some showers tomorrow morning in extreme southwestern Ontario, and then Wednesday in the morning through the midday and perhaps even in the afternoon, we'll see a couple of significant waves of showers. And then behind that, some colder air, the winds picking up, and Thursday into Friday, definitely we're likely to see a significant cool down in overall temperatures across the region. Here's the rainfall graphic to give you an idea of accumulations projected. It's a simulation over time and the specific areas. The first brush with the showery activities in extreme southwestern Ontario, near Sarnia, and perhaps the north shores of Lake St. Clair getting less than 5 millimeters, but it's really Wednesday morning throughout the day and afternoon where we see significant rainfall accumulations across the region. The overnight temperatures, well, quite a range. -6 in Shelburne, Mount Forest near -6, -7 before dawn, but as warm as +2 in the great city of London, Ontario, Port Stanley, and Long Point following suit. And there's a chance of still some more foggy patches tomorrow morning, pre-dawn, and through that morning rush hour commute. So headlight systems should be active on your vehicles, no doubt. Take a look at the highs and lows I'd put together for the next 7 days straight. And the icons do tell the story of wet weather. Unsettled, active weather Tuesday through Friday, warm enough to see it, mostly rain showers. Then here's that colder air moving in for Friday night into Saturday with a rain-snow mix for the weekend and highs in that -1, 0, +1 range. Tuesday, Wednesday, definitely stormy with rain showers for the Midwest, cold enough to see that mixture Thursday into Friday, Saturday, Sunday before we get a break, perhaps a week from now on Monday. That's a look at your weather.
Thanks very much, Gary. The Kinsman Sugar Bush is open for the season, and what a weekend for it to welcome back visitors. Opening day included the traditional pancake breakfast, along with syrup tours, pulled along in an upgraded horse-drawn wagon as well. It's managed by the Greater London Kinsman Club, who donate proceeds to local charities like Stevenson Camp Mission Services and Cystic Fibrosis Canada.
All the money that people are using to pay to get here and for their food, it's all going back into the community. So it is a really nice organization to see the money that you come and spend and enjoy your day.
No trees have been tapped just yet because it's been too cold, but organizers say they hope that happens soon, with the Sugar Bush reopening February 28th for the first of 4 straight weekends. Finally tonight, a look at the Londoners enjoying the day off from work or school today. With more on what Family Day meant to them, here's Lauren Stallone.
From hitting the slopes at Bowler Mountain to taking a stroll through Springbank Park, families are gathering across London to spend time together.
We were planning to have a walk here, so we did a 5K. Yeah, we just finished it almost. And after that, we go have a lunch and coffee.
While many adults use Family Day to reflect on all they have to be grateful for,
it's important to take this break, take this pause, and, enjoy the fact that we have a family, everybody's healthy. Yeah, it means a lot.
Children see the meaning of family as much simpler.
Love, caring, and kindness. Family means to me the person that you love, they love you too.
Family is like having fun and entertainment.
As a provincial statutory holiday, some places like movie theaters and community centers are open, but many families are choosing to spend the day outdoors.
We're going on a walk to get some fresh air together. Who we are? Walking here.
We're going to the pond and then we're gonna go to the river.
But beyond the fun activities and extra day off from school, one child says family is really about looking out for one another.
As a big brother, I always want to protect my sisters from people and other things because if I haven't, they could have gotten in a lot of trouble.
And that kind of unconditional love is what many say Family Day is all about. A reminder to check in on the people you love.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Happy Family Day.
Happy Family Day.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.